he'll be he'll be recused from a particular case that has to do with brewing company that reaches the Supreme Court because he's on file for saying,
Oh,
"Hey,
right. Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
beer." Well, you're gonna have to recuse yourself from that one,
Right,
Justice. Man. Well, it's been a hell of a week, folks. Of course, you guys, you caught Malik Obama's interview.
Oh, yeah,
that
that
was
was
just
awesome.
stellar. That was great. Sorry we missed
I
you
think
on Tuesday.
he's a great guy to chat around.
Oh, he's
Yeah, he was fun. Yeah, yeah.
incredible guy.
He's fun.
I think
Really
he had
down to
fun
earth.
too, though.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
had fun too.
Dude,
Yeah.
Malik Obama follows me on Twitter and sent me a personal DM saying, "Hey, I enjoyed that. Thank you." And I'm like, "Thank you." You know, yeah.
He's a super nice guy, and
he's in Kenya now.
He's in Kenya now. I'm not sure when he's gonna get back over to Virginia, but apparently he spends this season in Kenya, and he's got a lot of stuff going. One thing that we didn't mention.
Does he have a U.S. What do you call this?
He has a passport.
Residency.
He has a passport. He's a U.S. citizen.
Oh, he's a U.S. citizen.
Yep. Yeah, bona fide U.S. citizen. In fact, actually, he already had authorization to work in the United States in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Like it was like 1985.
He's had a green card for over 30 years.
Yeah, I mean
before had a green card
before
for over
Barack
30 years,
was even in politics, even coming close to politics. You know, Malik was in the U.S. working. So many people forget this, and so very exciting. So, guys, if you haven't seen the interview, it's on thegoldwater.com. It's right there, and check it out. There's more to come. We're we're just putting we're making sure that everything's 100%. We've been really busy speaking with Malik lately. The feature article is going to come out in the next couple of days, I think. So,
and we've also got the transcript, the full transcript for the folks that would like to just like read through, or
So there's a transcript, and then of course, one thing we do have to take a note: if you go to Malik Obama's Twitter and take a look at when he posted the interview, which was very nice of him, to 200 and some thousand followers. There's like 17 retweets, and he'll make the most absurd comment, and it gets, you know, tens of thousands of retweets, and on either side. So I'm thinking shadow ban on that one.
Ban.
So we're coming up with some creative ways to kind of challenge these folks that are shadow banning, that are doing these types of things.
You remember me showing you how my Twitter worked, right? I showed you, right? Where I could like something, and then it would unlike. I could retweet, and then it would come up saying it like for a half a second, say, failed to retweet.
Yeah.
I showed you that, right?
Yeah.
Guess what? And I couldn't follow people. Guess what? Like a day or 2 days after the election, I'm not saying there's a connection there, but the timing sure was odd.
I don't know.
You know? And then magically it all works again.
There's a bunch of squirrely stuff that these guys are doing, and they know, you know, if what they were doing was right and just and according to their terms of service, they wouldn't have to go through all of these sneaky little backhanded type of shadow banning.
And they
things,
can always say, "Oh, it was an accident.
Yeah,
oh, that's a bug."
It's basically children act like that, except they've got a pretty powerful toy. Which, you know, if you combine Twitter and Facebook, I mean, that's a massive amount of communication, world communication that they're toying with, according to their own political itch at the time.
Yeah.
So who knows? But stay tuned for some really exciting stuff. We're looking at some very creative ways to get some more attention to the articles and interviews like this. Which, you guys you have to watch it. It's, I don't know. I think everybody walked away from it feeling pretty damn good.
Is there any particular person that you would want to interview for the Goldwater?
I've got a spreadsheet.
Yeah, we're working on a list.
It's a huge list, and you'd be surprised at some of the names.
I was talking in email just this week to a guy that's a co-author of Surviving the USS Liberty, Dave Gahary, one of the co-founders of Moonrock Publishing.
Oh yeah.
Who's who's of course the other co-founder is Jim Fetzer, which is
Jim's
Revolution Radio, a friend of ours.
Yeah, we've had Jim on the
he,
show
he
a few
and
times.
Phil Turney. Phil Turney was one of the survivors of the USS Liberty, and he said that yes, they'd probably be interested in an interview.
Great.
Got some other maybes.
We should get Jim
on the way.
I didn't think
yeah,
of that.
Of course.
Jim Fetzer. Yeah, he's a great guy to get on. He and True go back and forth, which is really fun. I don't think Jim's been on True show for a while. They clashed over a couple of things that. I mean, to me, I don't know. I'm open to everything.
Was it heliocentric?
Yeah, biblical cosmology, things of that nature. But
it happens.
It happens if you're. That's a dangerous topic for a lot of people, and I don't know. Somehow, I seem to wade through it. I seem to be.
I don't have to agree with every. Okay, I don't want to agree with everything. On with every topic with someone, you know what I mean? That's boring. That's boring, you know.
Yeah. So lots of stuff. I mean, my list is too big to. But people are really kind of saying, "Hey, we'll talk to you," which is really cool. I also have some great news. We have a new writer in Venezuela.
Yeah,
and so
that's cool.
Yeah, so she's going to be writing a series of articles on the ground there.
Yep.
And she just got started, and we're very, very happy to have her writing these articles. It's important for people to have a Venezuelan on the ground, somebody who's lived there.
Yeah, things are getting
report
crazy.
Exactly what's going on there. And her political views
the
are her own.
The president of Venezuela don't accept what do you call that, like help from the other country, and
there's
humanitarian aid.
Well, there's a lot of medication. There's a lot of pharmaceuticals
people are, like, hungry.
That's not a joke. A lot of people are hungry. A lot of people are starving, and Colombia has become a pawn shop. My conversations with this person. People are ripping up. A lot of times the internet's not working because people are ripping out cables just to get them up to the border towns in Colombia and pawn them. So your internet's not working because the infrastructure isn't. Of course, Venezuela has always been known for having very low fuel prices because they've got that as a commodity, and so. Police officers aren't getting paid because there's no money. So what are the police officers doing? They're not enforcing the law. So people are taking fuel and selling that in Colombia. And everything's getting sold in Colombia, including people. So the prostitution is one of the things that if you can't feed your family, then you take the prettiest girl or woman. Sometimes wives, sometimes daughters. They ship them to Colombia, and that's the way that's the only thing they can do to feed their families.
That's trafficking.
That's socialism, and it's human trafficking. It's a product of socialism. Is what's occurring right now, and what's scary is how headstrong these people are.
Yeah. Do you think Maduro stepping down would help the country?
That's something we're going to learn.
From our new
firsthand. We're going to be learning.
What do you mean
firsthand.
Step down? Didn't we already crown the king of Venezuela?
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? It'll be interesting for you to maybe write a counterpoint article against hers.
I'm not pro Maduro.
Yeah.
Like people instantly assume. Like I go, so this Guaido guy, the one with the CIA connections, who they just gave billions in gold to. I don't trust him. Right. You're for Maduro. You're a socialist.
Right.
It doesn't have to be. You know, it can be neither this nor that. You know,
I don't think it's
I don't trust him. No.
My take on it is that it's never going to be clean and spick and span and up to everyone's standards. Bottom line is you got a bunch of people starving.
Where there are bananas, there will be banana republics.
Well, just look at what they're pawning in Colombia. The spoils of Venezuela are being pawned in Colombia for pennies on the dollar. And if you take a look at that, I think that's enough for everyone to realize that this guy, he's not going to step down. He's not going to admit that he's wrong. He's not going to hand power over. and something needs to be done. There has to be some sort of catalyst, or catalyst.
Let me explain though how I feel about Maduro. The guy, he's a fat male Marie Antoinette. Instead of let them eat cake, you remember him on TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole country's starving, and he's got to do a 5-minute bit on TV. But the fat bastard can't even wait 5 minutes. Reaches into his cabinet, pulls out, let them eat empanadas. Okay, he's a fat male Marie Antoinette, and if what happened to her happened to him, I would not feel that sad or sorry for him because he put himself in those. But that doesn't mean, like I said, you can hate Maduro and still not trust Guido. Guido. You know what I'm saying.
I don't trust Maduro.
I mean, even his name sounds like mafia.
Well, we'll be finding out a lot more about that firsthand. So very excited about that, and boots on the ground, so to speak, and possibly some photographs of things that are occurring there that day, which is I don't know about you. I just don't. I just don't trust what everybody else is reporting.
Oh,
what
no,
the
not
pool
at
is
all.
reporting down there, and I can't. I'm not going to talk about the identity or location of this writer because obviously for very good reason. And that's where it sits and where it stays. But I'm learning a lot more about what's happening there, and every day working with her. So that's very good news, and we've got some other people that are.
Oh yeah, speaking of exclusives.
Oh.
The whole Jesse Smollett thing, right?
Oh, what happened to that guy?
Well, he's going to court the 14th. I mean, before then, the judge granted him special permission to fly off to New York and to fly off to California, which tells us that he's going to get a fair trial. And you know what? Here's the funny thing, though. We've got a writer who's going to be doing a guest piece, Ann Sterzinger. She's written a few novels. She's written for Talkies and other places, and it's gonna make your blood boil. It's gonna make your blood boil, and then you're gonna laugh, and then blood's gonna boil some more, and then you're gonna laugh again. A lot of people have been talking about how the real crime of the whole Jesse Smollett thing is that he wasted the time and manpower of the Chicago Police Department, and only 1 in 6 murders is solved in Chicago. And so if it's not as dire a crime as murder, that percentage goes down, right? And a lot of people have talked about, it makes me angry that, well, she knows firsthand because she had to move away from Chicago because one of her neighbors raped her, and she told the cops it was him. It was him, and they did the rape kit, but they just didn't have the time and the money and the resources to do a $30 DNA test and knock on the next door neighbor's house. But meanwhile, we've got 500 cops spending 1,000 hours. No, but it was dozens of cops and hundreds of hours, and probably millions. Hundreds of thousands, if not $1 million or more dollars in manpower, and when you consider everything that they put into that, I'm sure they ran everything through a lab there. The rope, which was actually a clothesline, evidently.
This is kind of fishy. According to Chicago police, Smollett intended for his attack to be captured on a security camera.
But it was facing the wrong way.
Pointing in the wrong direction at
it was northeast or northwest.
Well, that's one of the things. I don't know if I told you. I just confirmed it this morning. I'm flying out to Chicago on the 14th to interview Smollett. And one of the conditions is I'm going to do it in blackface. So it's going to be an exciting interview. You guys are really going to want to see this, okay? I'm going to teach him how to tie a noose properly. do the whole deal.
Fake news.
And we're gonna go back and recreate the crime the way it should have been done.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna bring some of our some guys from
And then
northern
teach
Idaho.
him how to get away from the crime.
Yeah, there's a couple of friends that I'm also gonna interview, but we're gonna bring them over from northern Idaho, and we're gonna recreate it the way it should have been
Hire
done.
a super buff to blackmail.
No, they should be white supremacists if you're gonna do it right.
Okay.
I mean, really. And then just as a little contrast, I'm gonna do it in blackface. Yeah.
You know, I find it
It'll
interesting.
be a great interview.
Somebody pointed this out. You notice everybody knew that it was white supremacist MAGA supporters, right? Like it was practically. He never even said they were white. I think it's because he's an actor, but not a good one, you know? And that's the thing. He's only a D-list actor, and he really needs to stay away from writing and directing because that's where he screwed up. You know? Dude, like, and if Lee Daniels is involved, the producer of Empire, and I sort of feel like this didn't originate with Jussie.
No,
Jussie,
I don't know if I
Jussie's
agree with
the
you on
bad
that.
boy.
Because something so epically stupid can't have gone through too many people before somebody, you know, I mean, come on. Somebody that's directing or producing, somebody.
It would have been more than $3,500 in the Nigeria.
I just get the feeling.
And he paid him with a check.
Because this was definitely a cocoon of stupidity. Okay?
Memo.
I mean,
4 crimes.
So yeah, I mean, let's give credit where credit's due.
Step 1: never pay for your crimes with a check. That's just step 1. Step 2: don't commit your crimes with your real regular. That's why they call it a burner phone, dummy. You know?
It's just
Saturday Night Live or like taking.
Oh yeah. You know, I saw that little skit. I had to.
Yeah. I haven't seen it. I would want to watch it.
It was kind of funny, but honestly, I think they held back.
Well,
you know, they could have been a lot harsher. But yeah, like at one point he's like, what is it? They also had oh crap. It's a bunch of folks who are in legal trouble. I think Michael Cohen might also be on there. Rudy Giuliani is one of the legal sharks. And now that was the funny bit when Rudy Giuliani's like, now listen, here's what I can do for you. The show Shark Tank. Like, I'll give you $1 million and I'll help you develop your business. Right. But it's legal Shark Tank. Rudy Giuliani is one of the legal sharks. He's like, here's what I can do. Now I can take a case and then I can go on TV and I can say the worst possible thing. Because, like, honestly.
Okay, so
like,
they had to mix in Rudy.
Rudy, would you do me a favor? Right. Stop helping. You know? So, yeah. Of course they did. Of course they
had
did.
to mix it with something else to defray it. They couldn't do a good bit about Smollett. Which,
about
my
just
God,
about
was
Smollett.
Just begging for it. Just begging for it. But it'll be interesting to see where he ends up, and he'll probably be in some sort of rehab somewhere. You know.
Oh yeah.
He'll be diagnosed with some special problem.
He's already said that he was on what is it? His drug problem, and I wonder, if he paid for the MDMA from his Nigerian friends with checks as well. Because the Nigerian guys were also the designer drug dealer, or one of them.
Oh. Yeah. Well, there's some charges right there. That'll be good.
They're cooperating though. That's why they're not catching nothing. Yeah. They've got the big fish. Yeah.
Nigerians too. I mean, come on.
Well, one of the best bits to come out of this. What was it I heard? It's one of the first cases where an American managed to scam the Nigerians.
Hey, that's
so there's
good.
that.
You got that going for you.
I wonder how Jussie will pull back his name after this.
Oh, there's no. I mean, that's
If
going to be
he's
years. But it'll be a sympathy
Get plastic surgery, change his name, move to a different country, learn a new language.
Actually, no. You know what he needs to do? This is the only way I can see it. He needs to change sexes.
Oh, right.
That'll do it. That'll give him another shot.
Kevin Spacey. We learned from Kevin Spacey that becoming gay doesn't help. Remember?
Is he gay?
Oh yeah, Kevin Spacey got in trouble for having sex with boys. I've decided to live my life as a gay man. That didn't work. But if you think about it, remember when Bruce Jenner ran that dude over and killed him?
Oh, yeah.
And he was up for manslaughter charges? And then he's like, I've decided to live my life as a woman. That's what Kevin was thinking. He was like, hey, it worked for Bruce.
Yeah, and then you're locked up for espionage, and you decide that you're going to change sexes. Remember the what was the guy's name?
The rapist that ended up raping more people?
No, the espionage. He was a sub.
Oh, no, you're talking about, Bradley, Chelsea.
Yeah. Whatever.
Chelsea Manning?
No,
Manning,
that's true, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you just, I don't
Currently
know.
woman.
Chelsea Manning didn't even cut it off, did he? Or he? Or
I think.
I'm not sure,
I'm not sure.
I mean, I
just
say,
completely like dressing like a.
Yeah.
But I mean, you do. There is a precedent for a get out of jail free card.
It didn't work for Klinger.
Borrow your lipstick.
But on occasion.
Yeah, I mean, all I need to do if I do something really bad is just get Abby's lipstick and some underwear.
Right.
I'm set.
Oh,
That's it. Maybe she's not going to loan me
that's,
her underwear.
That's a thought too.
If
MASH happened today, would they let Klinger out?
I would. I mean, no. I guarantee you that every attorney or anyone there is going to say, "Well, listen."
No, they would force him back in. No. Now we actually need to promote you. You're going to be.
Yeah. So I mean, it's nuts what the standards that these people are doing or holding themselves to, because it's wavering. It just, man.
It's like walking on an eggshell.
Oh yeah.
Every time we talk about homosexual.
Well, over there it is. I mean, I'm glad that we can do this show here.
Yeah.
You know, people aren't going to be burning down the we don't have any issues here, which is great.
Yeah, we don't have any issues here.
But yeah, you couldn't very well do this in San Francisco. No way.
You could,
really?
But
no,
you can't.
I saw a question on Quora.com. Somebody asked, surely in jest, is downtown Chicago MAGA country? People were coming in explaining how when Trump tried to have a campaign, tried to campaign there was nearly a riot, and somebody came right in saying, no, if you were wearing a MAGA hat, you'd be asking to get beat up, and you probably would. You'd be taking your life into your own hands.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, I don't know. Have you seen it? I don't know if it was Daily Caller or Gateway Pundit did a neat little compilation clip of all these people with MAGA hats getting beat up, and you know what I mean, and assaulted, and that's been happening for years, for 2 years. What kills me is I know stories of like there was the gay Latino in the MAGA hat who got beat up. There's the woman in the MAGA hat who had urine thrown at her. There was the Hispanic father and young son who got beat up by. And a lot of time it's white people and men assaulting women and gays and minorities because Trump's a racist.
Yeah.
I've got to beat up this minority because Trump's a racist. Yeah. Whoa, hold on there, buddy.
Totally programmed.
Like, look in the mirror, man.
Yeah. I'm rereading 1984, and it was interesting. George Orwell was a socialist. I mean, he was a socialist.
He was left wing, but anti-socialist. He was
he was
anti-bureaucracy.
He identified himself as a socialist, but it was a different type of meaning. Right. Totally different type of meaning.
He knew what the bureaucracy would lead to, which is why he called it INGSOC, English socialism.
Yeah.
He knew that it's a good idea if people help one another, but this is going to turn into a bureaucracy with a top-down effect that, what's that line about, like a boot, smashing the face of humanity forever. Yeah. He saw where it would head, yeah.
So it really is like this, it's eerie going through. And then, of course, next up is, I've got all of them fired up on my Kindle. I got that thing out, dusted it off, and loaded it up with a Brave New World and Fahrenheit, what is it?
451.
451. And,
all Mr. Bradbury.
Keep going with all of those. I mean, but that is now. That's happening now. the helicopters, their drones, they're not only that, but I don't have this one covered. Well, I'm running Cubes, by the way, folks. Highly recommend it. If you're not concerned at all about network security, you should start to be. Because once they start doing passive DNA and facial recognition and all of that is released, and they're matching it, it's almost over. It's almost over.
So I need to start covering this thing too.
If you're not sure, cover it. Just cover that and the mic, and just tape it over.
Otherwise,
might not look pretty.
Just safe to assume you're being watched.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this is where it helps if, like me, you've just been a paranoid all your life. Like when I was a kid, I always felt like I was being watched. Like,
Are you feeling vindicated?
And finally, I'm right. Yeah, fine. I'm not paranoid anymore.
No.
I had an ex-girlfriend when I was in high school, whose mom was a former NSA agent, and she was an NSA agent, and now she sleeps with a 9mm under her bed, under her mattress, right? And I remember sitting around a fire at one of those high school parties. She was one of those cool moms that lets you drink. Anyways, and I'm talking, and sometimes I feel like the government, blah, 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 but I know I'm just paranoid. And, I will never forget this, just, the look on her face, just stone cold. No, Philip, you're not paranoid. You're just realistic. I mean, I'm getting chills again. Just like an ex-NSA agent. And this is before 9/11, guys.
Oh, yeah.
It hadn't even started yet.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if you take a look, there's a number of different shots in video of Mark Zuckerberg with his laptop. And you'll see he's got his mics taped and his camera taped up. And and he's on Facebook. He's on his own network. And those people
don't want their kids on social media or having too much screen time either. That's for the proletariat's children.
Yeah. So it's not that it just began. It's already here. It's happening, and something needs to happen to. I hear these arguments that it's too late. But I mean, what are you going to do? Not fight? I mean, what are we supposed to do here? I mean, we're seeing social credit scores in China. Millions of people did not travel last year because their social credit score. Now they're finally saying it. They're admitting it. At first they were saying, "Oh, we don't do anything of the such." And guess who helped them do it? Google.
Oh, yeah. What was it? Dragonfly, right? Oh, no, wait.
They just changed the name.
Listen to this.
They're still doing it.
Coca-Cola fired a man who posted hate. He was listed on thebullielist.org. You know what's great about this site? Anyone can create a Facebook profile with anyone's name, or you could just add a screen cap, because none of this is verified.
No.
So, hey, do you hate someone? Go to thebullielist.org and get them fired. Do you want to bully someone? Yeah. Go to thebullielist.org. The Bully List, enabling bulliers since 2019.
Now, here's one that I like. I installed this. This is the Microsoft's. Their.
Oh yeah.
What are they calling it? NewsGuard. So if you go to, let's say you go to Google.com, right? And you can go in any site and you type in the Goldwater. And so here we go. There's our regular site, and boom, there's this big red exclamation point right here. Let me make sure I don't have anything going here. Okay, right here, red exclamation point. But the second listing has a green check mark next to it. See? And it says the Goldwater, and it's got a green check mark. And the only reason it's green is because our good friends over at Media Bias Fact Check.
Oh, you mean the folks that said some stuff and then contradicted themselves and then they deleted the tweet because they looked stupid, but luckily I screen capped and archived it?
Yeah.
I remember those guys.
And the same folks that WorldNet Daily got marked for, and they want to waste you so much time. I mean, you look at the questionnaires that these people send you, and it's crazy. Okay, so I don't bother even responding, because to respond is to give it legitimacy.
Exactly. Validating. Exactly.
Yeah, so the people that run this actually sent me an inquiry, and it was just pages and pages and pages of, you know, it was a waste of time because I already know what they're going to do. And the other thing is that they're trying to say, well, we're trying to ascertain whether or not you're biased. Well, of course we're biased, okay?
Everyone
and
is
biased
biased.
is, you know, we admit to it. Look at the top, okay? Look at the top of the Goldwater. It says biased, okay? We're biased news site. We're biased, okay?
We're
so
biased.
to say biased is bad is your job is to good thing, and now you need to put a little red exclamation. Don't go there. It's almost the way they do it, though. Have you noticed that they put it in this shield form, which is the same thing that they use, like McAfee antivirus used, as the shield,
exactly.
We're the red thing.
They're keeping us safe from this thought virus.
Well, it's almost like your computer is going to. If you click on that, it's going. Most people associate that with something. If you click on it, you're going to get a virus, and that's what they're tagging us with here. And so, of course, when you look, every single one of our articles is tagged with these flags, you know, these red flags all the way across the board.
Which they don't bother to
every Twitter post,
check.
Every Twitter post.
They don't bother to check the articles themselves. They already know that we're lying. So they don't have to read us to know we're lying. That's intellectually honest.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I mean...
So this week, I mean, we're going to be totally open and honest about it. We're going to be testing a new way to get our articles out there, and we know that it's going to. Those areas of those people are going to get banned. There's no question about it. It's just how much time it's going to take them to do it, and under what circumstances. Because at this point, it's going to be pure guilt by association. So we're conducting a little bit of experiment ourselves. Of course, we want to get our articles out, but we're going to be documenting this whole process as to how quickly somebody associates a site with you, or the fact that somebody even likes you, from them getting banned. So you're going to get banned just from knowing us. And of course, I mean, we've got, I don't know, not that many, 20-some thousand followers on Twitter, which is going up thanks to the 200. Hello, we're part of the 200. We're not bots, by the way. I wonder whose idea that was. My God.
You know, here's another thing, speaking of intellectual dishonesty. Okay, so Politico and Rachel Maddow, well, you know, we found these 200 accounts and they're Russian bots, is the whole thing. It's highly implied that all 200 are Russian bots. I read the actual, you know, the research, and it says, now we're not saying that they're Russian, or that they're bots, or that they're involved in a disinformation campaign, or even that, and I'm like, wait a minute, then what are you saying? You're saying that you're not saying anything at all, but you're saying enough to highly imply a bunch of bull? So wait a minute. So the fake news is that we're fake news? Okay then, noted.
And also, I mean, the very foundation of media bias fact check is that this guy's a journalist. Of course, WorldNet Daily comes and points out the fact that, we can't find a single article with your name on it.
He admitted that to us as
well. And then he finally, that's when that happened right when, you know, they were doing it with us. And these people, there's no shame. There's absolutely no shame in just coming. It's like the DiCaprios of the world that are flying across oceans in private jets to pick up their green.
You need to lower your carbon footprint.
Or the Ocasio-Cortezes. That was a nice day. Yesterday was awesome. Somebody dug up how much they spent. Despite the fact that
what's going on with
her campaign headquarters, they got some numbers from how many cars that they use, like Uber and Lyft, in New York, and despite the fact that the subway is 138 feet from the front step, somebody actually walked it. 138 feet is all somebody has to walk to get on the subway from her campaign headquarters, and yet it was like 1,200 Ubers and Lyfts, and if you compare that to what other campaigns were doing, you know, what other people were doing.
her mother scrubbed toilets in the Bronx.
Right.
Now, it was the toilets owned by her architect father, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well,
like, you know.
So the end of the story, though, isn't quite there yet. She famously donated her shoes to a museum of some sort because it was, because she was hitting the pavement. Well, this proves that she wasn't really hitting that much pavement. She was Ubering everywhere, and all of her staff were Ubering everywhere, and the amount of jetting that she's done, it's insane. Somebody caught her just 4 or 5 days ago, sitting down with her chief of staff, and this guy, she's right next to him. This is 2 days after she defends her hamburger. I call her the hamburger.
That's hilarious.
So, anytime
Hamburglar.
Well, she doesn't believe that people should eat hamburgers anymore.
In the FAQ.
Not?
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, you shouldn't have children.
Oh.
Yeah, because she it's not a good thing. She doesn't want you to have children or eat hamburgers.
Why?
Yeah, because
I remember
cows
the
fart.
Guy, I think I've shared an article before that you shouldn't have kids because I don't know, I can't really remember, but it's his
Was it the Indian guy that was suing his parents?
Suing his parents
suing
without
his parents
consent
because
to be born.
He didn't want to. He was born without consent. Right. It's like the crazy.
Give the guy I know. I kind of give the kid a couple of credits.
I think that if he wins his suit, he should get his way, and they should do away with him. Oh
yeah.
Congratulations, you win. Here is the gas chamber.
Yeah.
I mean, what
they should do an honor killing?
I couldn't also understand that. Okay, Ocasio-Cortez would say that you should have kids.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, here's the thing.
That's kind of a twisted thought.
But they want to kill them too. I mean, the memes
the
this week were really bad. Yeah, they're wanting to kill freshly born babies.
Yeah.
I mean, they really want. I mean,
Virginia. Yeah, okay.
The memes were wicked this week on that.
My body, my choice. It's just a fetus. Okay, well, that doesn't count when it's, quote, been resuscitated. Mm-hmm. That's where they smack it on the ass and it takes its first breath. When the cord has been cut, he talks about that Northam, Governor Blackface.
Yeah.
Former doctor, Governor Blackface, has said that, they would resuscitate the baby and make it comfortable. I don't know what he means by that, but anytime I ever heard a doctor say make it comfortable, he's saying morphine, right? Well, your grandmother's got cancer. We're going to do our best to make her comfortable. Right. Okay, so what they're saying is they're going to shoot the baby up with morphine, put it on a table, and then the caregiver and the mother, can you call her a mother? What do you call that? Infanticide? Murder or whatever. Anyways, dude, it's my body, my choice, and it's just a fetus. Does not count when there is a doped up baby laying on a table waiting for 2 or 3 people to have a conversation. I love the metaphors, the little euphemisms he uses. Make it comfortable. Have a conversation. Dude, we're talking about a newborn baby laying on a fucking table. Excuse my language, un peu français,
this is why they made birth controls.
Well,
and
they
other
should have,
stuff in order to prevent you from being pregnant.
And you don't want the baby? Well, it's born. Now you can give it up for adoption.
I can take her line of argument in that, okay, certain people shouldn't have children. I mean, that's clear as day. If you're stupid, I mean, if you're stupid or sick, if you intend on killing it, don't have it in the first place, right?
Taking care of a baby.
So, I mean, and if that happens multiple times, you should consider chemical castration.
I would not go on the record as saying that I'm for eugenics. I would also not go on the record saying I'm for dysgenics either, though. Yeah. So,
well, there's a
reason why I'm for a republic, because democracy is stupid. Okay?
There are some people that just shouldn't have kids, and that's apparent. That's really apparent, and it's a good argument for adoption. It's a good argument for a lot of things. But you don't go out doing.
That's a slippery slope
late-term abortion,
don't
and then
kill
to come
babies.
out. But then to come on the other side and say, well, I don't think people should have kids, and I don't think you should eat a hamburger because cows fart. And all of it's about the environment. I don't know. The other thing we have to talk about, did you guys catch the CPAC speech? 2 hours. He went start to finish 2 hours, his longest speech. And well, you can expect. I mean, it was funny just typing in CPAC while the speech was going, and the headlines that were popping up. And then, of course, when Trump was saying bullshit, they're finding some whatever bullshit. It was hilarious, but it was when I was watching these headlines pop up live, and it was just like everything that was approved by Google and Facebook and Twitter, everything that got through the filters, and so I had a bunch of machines going, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to.
Did the media forget how they elected Trump?
Oh man,
they forgot how they elected Trump.
That's just stupid.
The people helped. The people had to go into the boxes and press the button, but the media created the situation. Like you cannot buy that kind of
total
publicity.
hostility. But it was amazing watching it. They were just hanging on every word, and every headline that was coming up was just so negative, despite the fact that the guy is making some really great arguments, and he's just bantering. It was a great speech. There's an article that we put in the aggregate section that was an argument that basically cemented 2020 for him. If you go back to that speech, that's basically what is going to be you're going to hear in 2020, and nothing obviously is going to change. The Democrats have to. They're so far behind right now because now they're at a tipping point where all of them are trying to, like, I think some of them are flipping a coin saying, well, should I be a socialist? I don't know. Should I be a socialist? It looks like it worked for Ocasio-Cortez, but does it work for old people?
No. Feinstein and Pelosi, you're too old. You've already,
Yeah, they're not part of the club.
And once again, I don't know if we mentioned that. You have seen the Feinstein video finally, right? The one with the kids? The kids?
Which one?
Oh my God, you know what I'm talking about, right? A bunch of kids go to Dianne Feinstein's office to talk about the Green New Deal.
Oh no, I didn't see it. I missed it. I totally missed it. Yeah, so
and it's so cute. It's so cute, and it's the kids are probably around 8 to 16 years old, right? And one of this young little girl, and she's holding a sign. We're going to go to Dianne Feinstein's office and tell her to vote for the Green New Deal. And you see the hope glittering in her little eyes because, she saw on TV where trillions of dollars is just something you pull out of the air. Whoop, there's a trillions of dollars here,
94.
Right, yeah. More money than exists in the world is just right over there probably, right?
Yeah.
It's easy when you're 8. It's easy, right? So she goes to Dianne Feinstein.
Dianetics?
I'm not a fan of Feinstein. I never have been. She and Schumer and Pelosi, they're the worst type of corporatist liberals,
It's terrible.
But they go to the office, and I had to laugh. Because, we want to tell you to vote for the Green New Deal. Well, listen, I've got my own Green New Deal. And, well, yeah, but this is blah, blah, blah. And she's like, do you know how much that'll cost? She's telling kids this. Kids don't understand this, which is why I've heard they want to lower the voting age.
Oh, gee.
Because kids don't understand this.
How could you possibly lower it?
Okay. Like, they lowered it to 18 because 18-year-olds were being sent to war. That makes sense. I get that, okay?
Yeah.
And so let's not send 16-year-olds to war, or we'll have to let those idiots, sorry kids, vote. But yeah, and so the one chick, well, you don't understand. And, I've been doing this for 30 years. I know what I'm doing. And then what is it? Well, we voted for you, and the government is for we the people. And she looks at the kid. How old are you? 16? You didn't vote for me.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
What is
that was
the-
so mean
What
and
is
so
the
great.
age consent of
18.
voting
Yeah.
For voting.
in America?
You didn't vote
For
me.
voting is
Yeah, for
18.
voting.
Oh my god.
Same here in the Philippines.
Yeah.
18.
I've probably watched that a half a dozen times.
I need
and
to
still
check
makes
that
me
out.
laugh.
Well,
Yeah.
good for her. I mean, at least pointing out some of the obvious, because it's insane what's
man.
being overlooked right now. Just some of the dumbest stuff, and they're just people are eating it up. What? How could you possibly believe any of this? But yeah, that's the fruits of a beautiful education system that we've got.
Yeah.
I
My
think
Lord.
Ocasio Cortez is still super young to, she's the youngest congresswoman in the United States, and I think she needs to eat more rice, as what we say in the Philippines. You know, you need to eat more rice in order for you to think or be more mature.
Right. Yeah.
There was a
She
quote
needs
that
to eat more rice.
what was it that
Telling people not to have kids.
yeah, that
I could understand if she will tell people, think carefully if you want to have kids or not, or just take birth control.
She tweeted out just the other day, she said, if you're a billionaire, then you should have to, and you want to be in public office, you should work your way up to it. And you should you should start as a mayor, or you should start in the city council. And that way you learn everything's going on if you're a billionaire. And this guy responded back, and it was the best tweet. It was. I'm sure I'm screwing up the wording, but it was something to the effect of, a billionaire certainly has a lot more experience than somebody has gained a lot more experience in life than being a bartender in the Bronx. Yeah. And I mean, she got elected as a congresswoman right off the bat, right out of the gate.
And we know she doesn't have enough planning skills or knowledge of the government to have figured out that she needed to be able to pay rent for two places. We know that. We know that she apparently doesn't know that the Democrats are blue and the Republicans are red. We know that she thinks that the House and Congress are two different branches of government.
Oh my God!
Oh
CNN
man!
is really pro
like this is stuff I learned in 6th grade.
It's nuts.
You know,
just a basic course in civics has passed her by.
To be fair, though, I was homeschooled, so maybe she's just a product of a public school education. I don't know.
Well, certainly she is. I mean, she has to be. But it'll be fun watching what goes down there, and I hope. Trump said this at the CPAC. He's like, I love what's happening right now with the Democrats. He said, just don't change a thing. I love the new Green Deal or the Green New Deal or whatever they're trying to. This whole thing. I love it. I love it. Don't change it. I mean, it's the same thing as that I've been saying as well. As keep it up, please keep it up, Bernie. Keep going. And now you notice they're tearing Bernie apart. They're ripping him. CNN is ripping him. CNN
they were from the beginning, though.
Well, when they finally figured out he was a threat.
You remember WikiLeaks?
Oh yeah.
Remember WikiLeaks? Yeah. That Hillary had embedded journalists. We know this.
Yeah.
Like there was collusion between the media and the Clinton Foundation.
Deep state, if anything. I mean,
it's going to be mentioned. It's talking about the Malik feature. I mentioned how he mentioned the deep state and Hillary and things. Did you notice how the Clinton Foundation, like now it doesn't get any more donations?
Wow.
That's because she has nothing to sell anymore.
That's right.
She used to be the Secretary of State, and she could sell things. Remember, Qatar gave us some money, and they're not a terrorist state anymore. Yeah. Well, now she doesn't have any influence to peddle, and nobody is buying it.
Well, you know what? I mean, what's interesting though is that I wonder what kind of debt she's got, because people like that, that she. With everything, with the media, with the deep state working for her, they didn't expect her to lose at all. She had sold every car on the lot. She had mortgaged the entire country, and everybody was bidding on it and paid her for it. Where do you think that $1 billion came from? Okay. and the influence and the favors that it took for her, despite all of the nasty stuff that she's done. Uranium One, none of that came out. None of this stuff, even today, people are paid to protect her. But the rest of that, there's a lot of favors on borrowed stuff there that she doesn't, I mean, that's
basically day trading, right? Day trading on influence,
you
right?
You can get into the same trouble.
You borrow some money, you put it on a sure thing, and then the horse don't win the race. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in certain walks of life, okay, and we know, just go to the Goldwater. We've got that little section called body count there. Just saying. And it's still going up. That she runs in circles that are pretty dangerous and pretty evil. So I'm just surprised that, man, if you borrow that amount of money and aren't able to pay it back, you promised certain things and they delivered certain things and you're not able to give them what you promised them. Hey, I mean, I don't know. Loan sharks, kind of mafia people, they don't take lightly to that. And she's hanging out with a lot worse. She's the worst of the worst. Really evil, satanic people. So I don't know what she's got up her sleeve now, but who knows? Maybe it's some sort of pool that they've got going there. That's why they're so desperate.
Netanyahu is being indicted.
I remember the night. Burdock, you remember I sent you a DM in Slack. I said, I don't know what you got to drink in the house. Pour a cup. Let us raise a glass to BB being indicted. And like in this article, his crimes are fraud, corruption, breach of the public trust, collusion with the media, and so you're saying he's a politician?
Right.
Okay, he's a politician. No, his crimes are crimes against humanity. But then the UN came out like days after that. It was safe. It was finally safe for them to say, oh, and by the way, that thing where they shot a bunch of people when they were marching and carrying signs, it might be a war crime. Yeah. When you kill like 100 people and injure 1,000, and they're unarmed, and they're just protesting, I would call that a war crime.
Well, yeah, you gotta call him.
He has so much
scandals.
Call him
on this stuff. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that I don't know where to start, where to end. True Show was pretty interesting. We were running off of a bunch of stuff. He had some interesting takes. He's super excited, obviously, to maybe talk to Malik Obama about Gaddafi and what's happening there, because there's somebody that knew the man, and it fell right in line with what we've been talking about for years on the story behind the story about Gaddafi. And one interesting thing was that the reparations that he was talking about, what the extent to which Libya went after the Pan Am bombing, Lockerbie, and which, by the way, the explosives were clearly traced to the CIA. So to say that Gaddafi didn't have anything to do with it, and Reagan was wrong, I don't know.
It's kind of like how every time Trump says we're going to pull out of Syria, Assad decides, no, wait, let me gas my own people. No, that's not what would happen. No, that's somebody desperate to keep us there, to keep the war going. Yeah.
Well, hopefully, in light of all of this, people are going to step back from the whole thing. I think they're only keeping 400 people in Syria, just a small group of people now, and there really is just this one last little tiny pocket of, and then you've got other people that are willing to go in there and keep fighting. But I think it's a good thing. Get them out, keep our people there, make sure that I think you want to keep a bunch of people there incognito. You want to keep a few people hanging out you know, so that they can laze some targets. You know how they do that with the lasing. So yeah, lasing's kind of cool. I mean, if you're the dude on the ground, that's got to be some wicked stuff because you're not that far away from some pretty big munitions going off, and you're pointing something that's about to go boom. And can you imagine? You know, you're lasing a target, and your girlfriend is like, "Come back to bed." No, just hang on a second, sweetie. I need to wait. But yeah, you got to have people doing that, and obviously intel, and just infiltrate with spies. And in my opinion, in a situation like that, if somebody starts doing some pretty atrocious stuff, I don't know, maybe we should take a page out of Hillary's book on that one. You know what I mean? You know, if you got kids in Mena, Arkansas that are looking at your drug dealing operation, they end up dead on railroad tracks. Well, hey, you know, maybe Clinton could actually help out. Maybe, really. I mean, put her in charge of that. But yeah, I mean, there is a certain way of doing that. Yeah. So, story behind the story.
Saturday. Oh, that's Friday night.
Friday nights, 7 p.m. Pacific, and we're going to be. I don't know who we're having on this week, but should be fun. Dr. True is going to be there. We're going to see if Alex is going to come back on. I don't know.
Oh.
He's kind of
On
getting everything going.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, everybody needs to stay tuned for the Malik article, which is coming out probably within 36 hours or so.
24
to 36 hours. We'll have that, and then some feature pieces from a new reporter in Venezuela. So
yeah,
stay
I'm excited
tuned.
about her.
Yeah, lots of she's really cool, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that is nothing to declare for this week.
Thanks for tuning in
in with us.
Till next time.
Godspeed, folks.